Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new season of the Purposeful Life Show with your host, Adrian Starks. I'm excited to share some new updates of the show with you, starting with a new look, sound, and energy, as well as a variety of guests coming aboard with intriguing topics of conversation. I hope you enjoy the new level of energy that will be brought to the show. Thank you for all of your support since the very beginning in 2019. Wow, it's been 3 years already? Because of you, the Purposeful Life Show is now in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, and we aim to get it into the top 1%. Continue listening to the show and share it with others. You can also now listen to the show on my Facebook page at Adrian Starks, where you can comment in real time and communicate with me about your aha moments. Thank you again for all of your support, and let's make this one hell of a year and be purposeful about doing that. Wishing you all much love and success.
You are traveling with something. There is money coming and going because you are living this lifestyle. So it's not something, it could be short term, but ideally it's like a lifestyle that you're living. So you do have your work, whatever it is. Maybe you have your own business, maybe you work for a company remotely, maybe you freelance. There are different options for that, but you are working and living at the same time. So the freedom is definitely there. It's one of the reasons actually why I chose this lifestyle, but you need to sustain it.
Welcome to the Purposeful Life Show on the Connect Now podcast with your host, Adrian Starks. If you're looking for the ideas that could be your breakthrough for change in your business, career, or personal life, then this podcast is for you. Join Adrian as he speaks on topics of personal and professional development for the person behind the business, and interviews a variety of entrepreneurs, business owners, and thought leaders to reveal their ideas and solutions to success and its challenges. Subscribe to the show and leave us a review. It's time to connect, learn, and grow.
Welcome to the Purposeful Life Show and the Connect Now podcast with your host, Adrian Starks, and I'm so excited to have you all back for another amazing episode this week. And before we get started, I just want to make sure that you guys are doing all right out there. I know the holidays are coming up. You're going to spend some time with friends and family, and just to appreciate those moments. And speaking of appreciating the moments, I have a special guest on today, and we're going to talk about appreciating what you do in your business and how to find that ideal work for yourself. And her name is Juliana Rabbi. Now, what we're going to do today is, before I introduce her or bring her on, I want to just remind you to make sure you go ahead and download this podcast into your favorite podcast platform, subscribe to the show, and leave us a review. Okay, I had to get that out. All right, so now let's move into Juliana's bio. Juliana Rabbi is a recruiter turned career coach. After working for over 15 years as a recruiter and part of the human resources teams in multinational corporations all over the world, she has been working remotely for the past 8+ years and now helps professionals to create a career and a lifestyle that makes them happier. Ooh. Juliana has a background in psychology and a master's degree in human resources. She currently works as a career coach and helps professionals to land their dream remote job in 90 days. Juliana has been working remotely since 2014, so she also knows a lot about the remote work environment. Since 2019, Juliana quit her 9-to-5 job and has been traveling and working from different countries as a digital nomad. I love that terminology. We're going to talk about that a little bit later too. Juliana, welcome to the show today, my friend.
Hi, Adrian. Happy to be here. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, and I'm happy to have you here too. And where are you located currently?
Currently, I'm in Argentina, in Buenos Aires.
Beautiful. And we're going to talk about that too, traveling and how to have that remote workplace job, because I'm excited to share that with our audience. But let's talk about first this idea of you quitting your 9-to-5 job. And I can definitely come to terms with that with you, because I remember in 2018, I quit my 9-to-5 job and I was a bit scared. I didn't know what the heck I was doing afterwards. I had a plan, but I didn't know what was going to come next after that. What led you up to that decision to leave your 9-to-5 job, Juliana? And how was the process of moving from a predictable environment into one that is more flexible but is unpredictable?
Yeah, that was such an important decision in my life. I mean, I knew it at the moment, but when I look back, I still see that as a turning point in my life. That was definitely one of the major decisions I will remember forever. And obviously, it didn't come from one day to the other, right? I didn't wake up one
Hmm.
day and I say, hey, I'm going to quit my job. There was a long process of reflection about my life in general and if I was happy with what I was doing, the way I was using my time, the things I was committing to. So, yeah, I was thinking about all of that for a while, and then I attend a lot of self development events, workshops, and all of that. And I remember that in a lot of those events I went, the same question kept coming up to me, and it was like, if you were gonna die tomorrow, what would you regret not doing? Or if you could do
Powerful.
anything you would not fail, what would you do? And my answer for all those questions was always the same one. I knew the answer straight away. It was like travel more, travel more.
Mm,
And I
yes.
realized the questions were coming, the same kind of questions. My answer was the same. And I start noticing that I was not doing that. I was just speaking about it. And I start finding myself a very boring person. I was like, I don't like to be the person who speaks about it. I want to live this life instead of talking about it. So I was like, yeah, clearly I want to travel more. So how can you do that? And then I realized that the job I had at the moment, I was working full time as a recruiter in Barcelona, Spain. I could already work from home at that time, but I still had to be in Spain, or I had to, ask permission to travel from a different country. So it was not the flexibility that I wanted to have. So I realized that although I already had what a lot of people considered a perfect life, so I was working remotely in my area, I had a good salary, I was living in Barcelona in a very nice apartment, I was already traveling. For me, that was not enough. So I had to, first of all, detach from what other people were saying. Oh, your life is amazing, it's perfect. But deep
Hmm.
inside, I was feeling like, do you want to take it? Because I was not happy with that. So it was a process. But at some point, I said, I don't want to be the kind of person who talks about traveling more and doesn't do that. But then I didn't have a plan, or I had several plans to be more specific, and I had to
Hmm.
start digging down and seeing which plan made more sense for me, which one I'm willing to commit to. So I hired life coach at the moment because it was too much work to do alone. I was getting stuck on it.
Yeah.
And after checking and exploring a lot of options, which included, for example, landing a remote job or working as a freelancer or starting my own business, I decided to do what was easier for me at that moment, which was pretty much pack the knowledge I had, the experience I had working for corporations as a recruiter, and change that and start serving job seekers. So because I know
Okay.
what companies are looking for, I know what they evaluate in a LinkedIn profile, a resume, what they will ask in a job interview. I was like, let me pack that and serve that to the job seekers to make their life easier, because that was something I could do remotely. And then that's exactly what I did. I created like a minimum viable product, something that I
Hmm.
could do, and I started implementing that. But the whole process before, from the moment I decided until I quit my
Hmm.
job, actually, it took me 2 years, because for
Oh,
me,
okay.
the financial stability was something important, is still, and it was at that moment. So I didn't want to risk having no money, pretty much, or just, trying something and then 6 months later, oh, I need to come back because it didn't work out. So I wanted to have enough income coming from other sources that was not my full-time job before I quit that. So it took me 2 years to start, working as a freelancer to some companies, having my own clients, making money, improving the way I was marketing myself out there,
Hmm.
getting clients, improving the services until I quit the job. So it was quite a long and very intense 2 years journey, I have to say.
Wow, what a wonderful journey that was, though. And I love how you talked about it took you 2 years, because for most people listening today, a lot of people think, well, I just quit my job and I'm just going to go out here and do what I want to do for the love of it and have fun and have that dream job, that dream place to go. But it takes time to build that. And I love how you said financial stability. You want to make sure that you're in a place where when you leave that job, you can go over here and build that part of your life, but you have the resources to support you doing that. And that was something, Juliana, that I did not do when I left my job. I was like,
Okay.
see ya, I'm out of here, guys. Bye. They're like, are you coming back? Never. But I thought about it a couple of times, though, because I didn't set myself up for that kind of success that you did for yourself. And now that I've had a chance to grow and to think about things, I would have done things differently before I had left. So I love how you brought that part up about having the 2 years to get yourself into a position first. And I like the term that you have also embraced, this digital nomad. And I just wanted to go over this when I was reading the bio, and I said, okay, we got to talk about this one. For me, what comes to my mind is freedom. Juliana, what is it like to be a digital nomad and work from anywhere that you choose?
Freedom is definitely present. There is a lot of freedom, but what people don't know is the other side of the coin. There is also a lot of responsibility, commitment, deadlines to make, because
Okay.
freedom comes on the same level as you need to be able to do your job, do it well, deliver what you say you're going to do, and have
Yeah.
incomes coming, because it's not a long holiday. It's not a sabbatical period. That's a different plan, which is completely valid, but you should not call yourself a digital nomad if you're just traveling and trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life. You're in a sabbatical period, probably. But when you are a digital nomad, you have some kind of income. You are traveling with something. There is money coming and going because you are living this lifestyle. So it's not something, it could be short term, but ideally it's like a lifestyle that you're living. So you do have your work, whatever it is. Maybe you have your own business, maybe you work for a company remotely, maybe you freelance. There are different options for that, but you are working and living at the same time. So the freedom is definitely there. It's one of the reasons actually why I chose this lifestyle, but you need to sustain it. You need to make it happen, considering that it's not just holidays. But yes, freedom is definitely there, and it's amazing. Like, I cannot see
Mhm.
myself anymore going back to an office. I was thinking about it this morning because
Yeah,
it
neither
was
can I.
sunny, and I went to a yoga class early in the morning. Today is Thursday, right? So how amazing is that I can go on a random Thursday morning to a yoga class, and then I brought my laptop with me. So after that, I went to a coffee shop and I was working from there. And I looked through the window; it was sunny, and it came to my mind that memory of me working in an office and seeing the sun from the outside and thinking, "Oh my goodness, why am I inside this office when it's so
Mm.
sunny and nice weather outside?" And I also remember that I was thinking the same thing about raining. It was raining. I was like, I don't want to need to take public transportation and get all wet on the way to work. I wish I could work from home. So now I can. So it's amazing to be able to choose every day where I want to work. It could be from home, it could be from a coffee shop, from a co-working space, from friends' place, from anywhere. And still I know I can do my work, I can deliver what I committed to. And yeah, it's just, I love it. I'm a bit suspicious to talk about it because I'm happy with this choice. But if at some point I'm not happy anymore, I know I can go back. So it's a lifestyle. It's a choice that you make, and then you make things happen to you.
I'm just loving this conversation. I'm just getting immersed into your experiences because it just reminds me so much of mine. And you mentioned about going back. There was a manager that I worked for, and I recall sitting in the office with her, and she said, Adrian, if you really want to come back, you can. And I looked at her and I said, I will die outside those doors. I ain't coming back up in here. That's not happening. But see, with that decision, it comes great responsibility. And I
Yeah,
love how you said that. It's not about just going around and being free and traveling and working here and there. It's about having a system in place that can sustain you, which you have
yeah.
done quite well doing. And I think that's what our audience needs to understand today is that if you do want to move into that next state and to travel and to work remotely more, you have to find ways of creating a strategy, a plan, an exit strategy. And this is where you come in, Juliana, which I love. You help people with this.
Yes, yes.
So for a lot of, yeah.
No, but it's just that a lot of times we see on Instagram, on social media in general, when people talk about being a digital nomad, everything that you see is
Mhm.
like a nice photo by the beach with the laptop, person having a cocktail, and then people think that's the reality, but that's not the reality. That's
Mhm.
just posing for social media. So there is work. There is a lot of decisions every day about where to go, and then the visa, and then the accommodation, and then the time zone, and then having a proper place to work, and then adjusting to the language, to the coach. It's a tough life, but again, we choose the problems we want to have, right? When you work in an office and you have a stable life in the same city you grow up in, all of that, you have all the problems. So I choose to have all the problems, but just I want people to move on from that typical classical photo on the beach with the laptop and a cocktail. That's not what being a digital nomad really is. That's posing for a photo.
So if you have that as your screensaver right now on your phone or on your laptop, just realize that is not what it's all about. That's not
Exactly.
reality. That's just part of you taking time away to maybe check an email here and there. But the brunt work is the responsibility that Juliana is talking about, having these things in place. Running a
Yeah.
business, you have the thing, you go to work, right? There's a business to be run. And when you're running your own business, there is a business to be run. And speaking of business, for a lot of people, Juliana, that is an ideal life, to be running their own business and doing their own thing. Freedom and the ability to work from anywhere. Since you were able to do this, how can someone create a lifestyle that they love on their terms?
Yeah, there are different options. As I said, when I made this journey myself, when I realized I was not happy with my life and I want to create a different life, I was like, okay, so which life I want to create? And I didn't know at some point. So it's normal that at the beginning of the process, you're just feeling uncomfortable, unhappy with the life you have. You know you want to change, but you don't know what. So just make your peace with the fact that at the beginning you don't know. You don't need to know everything when you decide, like, I want to change my life. It's normal not to know. And it's okay, because that's when you decide, okay, I need to put time on it. I need to reflect on it,
Yeah.
check the options, investigate them, because what works for someone that you might know, might be living this lifestyle, might not work for you. So you need to be respectful with your life goals and your career goals, because I decided to go for the digital nomad lifestyle because I want to travel more. Some people want to go for it because they want to have more time to stay home with their kids. Some people want to do that because they want just to have passive income and don't be in front of the computer more than 2 hours a day. So there are so many possibilities out there. Some people make this choice because they want to have a company, they want to be an entrepreneur. So all those options are equally available, but they require different action plans. So when people talk to me, normally they come with this initial fascination, like, oh my goodness, you have a perfect life, it's so cool, I wish I could do the same thing, wow, that's a dream. So the first thing is moving from that's a dream to, okay, what do I need to do? Start
Mm.
taking actions and bring it down to earth, because the dream, you can achieve the dream, but you need to take the steps towards that. And I like very much the design thinking approach. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Hmm.
Design thinking is basically how designers work. So they don't wake up one day and they say, oh, this is the perfect logo for that company. I'm going to present to the client and the client is going to love it. And that's the end of the story. No, they start testing out things. They take one idea or a piece of idea and then they start working on it. They iterate, they prototype, they check the reality of the market, they talk to people, and then they come back and they say, no, I'm going to adjust a little bit, or no, I'm going to change completely. And then ideas start happening on the way, which are not the initial ideas anymore. But once you start moving towards the right direction, you start getting clarity, you start maybe eliminating some options out there. I changed my business so many times already in the past 2 years. So the things I was doing when I started, I'm not doing anymore because I got like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is boring to me now. But it was not boring maybe the year before. So there are steps. And when you're building up a different lifestyle, it's just to understand that, take the first step, see how it feels, and then you decide about the second step and then the third step. So if you're building a solid foundation, you don't need to do everything, to know everything at the very beginning, because that can be overwhelming and you probably will get stuck because you won't know everything. And just allow yourself to have like a roadmap. You know where you're going, but you're flexible on the way. Because also in this journey, Adrian, you meet so many cool people
Oh,
that
yes.
your mind will blow away. It's like, wow, I didn't know it was possible to do that. So once you open up your network, and they say that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend more time with, right? So if you
That
just
is true.
have friends, family, and people you relate to, they all work in the office, they have like a traditional life, that's all you can think about. So at the beginning, it's even difficult to come up with a single idea. But once you start having relationship and knowing and talking and experiencing people that live a different lifestyle, your mind will open up to so many other ideas. So it's a matter of starting, pretty much.
I love that approach because you were saying too that we are the average of the 5 people we hang out with the most. And I just had this conversation with someone the other day. And also Les Brown, I'm not sure if you know him, I'm pretty sure you do though. Great motivational speaker. He said that if you're the smartest one in the room,
You're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room.
Yes.
You're in the wrong room. And I think it's very important for us to understand that in order to expand our minds, we have to be in a different room where we are challenged mentally from a state of growth. Now, that's so important for us to do. What I love about this work you are doing is that you believe that when you are happy with your job, all the areas of your life will flow much better together. I love that, Juliana, because your goal is to help someone land a job that makes them happy so they can use their time and energy to take care of the things and people that matter most to them.
Yeah.
In the midst of doing this, my friend, what is a reoccurring challenge that you noticed when working with clients who want to make a lifestyle career change? What are some of those emotions that come up for them?
Oh, fear, because they are
Okay.
changing what they know already, right? The stability, the traditional career path that probably everyone around them told is the right one, is the desirable one. So there is a lot of fear involved. There are the limiting beliefs inside, like, am I really capable to start again a new life? And then it's funny because if you are young, you say, I'm too young for that. And then if you're older, I'm too old for that. So it doesn't matter the age you have. It feels like it's not the right age to do that. You're too young or too old to do that. There is this fear of, am I capable to land a good remote job or to start a new business or do something different? Because we are used to do things in one way. And then when some different option come, it's like, I don't know if I can cope with that. And then it adds on if people have family, if they have financial commitments that most of us have. So the money situation also comes up. Like, what if I cannot make enough money? What if I quit my job and then nothing else will come out? So basically, fear, insecurity, you start doubting yourself. You start also thinking that maybe you're dreaming too high. Maybe I should be grateful because I already have a job. Maybe I shouldn't be complaining. I'm ungrateful for my situation. And it's not about being ungrateful. It's about realizing that some lifestyle, they don't fit everybody. And they might have fit you for 10, 15 years of your life. But at some point, you want more. That's fine. That's just like human beings behave. We, at some point, we need to change. And sometimes it's not only about money. I mean, I always defend that we should have salaries that pay us well. I'm talking about work. It's not a volunteer thing. So I'm a career coach, and we also talk about salary negotiation and all of those skills to prepare you to do that. But it's way more than that, because it was way more for me. And I want to help people that also believe that it's more than money. It's about fulfillment. It's about having time for the other things outside of work. It's about feeling that you use your time in a way that makes sense for you. And for some people, it makes sense to be working, in the same job for the rest of their life, and they're happy with that, but others are not. So I'm here for the ones that are not happy with the traditional path, the ones that feel a bit weird because they don't really enjoy what they should be enjoying. They're not completely fulfilled by the things that everyone around them are completely fulfilled, or they not even think about other options. And my clients, they normally have been for a while thinking like, this is not working for me anymore. I wish I could do something different. So they have this little voice in their mind, but they don't know how to change that. And then, we start talking.
I wish I knew you back in 2018, Juliana. Let me tell you, I would have saved myself a lot of big mistakes. Oh my goodness. And for the people listening today, please don't do what I did. Make sure you have an exit strategy. Make sure you have a plan in place and just steps to take, even if they're small steps. And I like how you said this, Juliana. You said earlier about, let me see if I can just recall this. It's okay to not feel content with what you have. That doesn't mean you're not ungrateful. It just means that you're not content with it. And I think Earl Nightingale said this. He said that we have to be constructively discontent, because there is this way of growing and having something much better for ourselves. Even if what we have is providing for us, that's great. But what is it providing for us emotionally, psychologically, physically? And I believe that's where a lot of people are wanting right now, especially how things are going with the job markets and just the uncertainties of everything flowing around us. And I think that we're all on this journey of wanting to know, is there something better out there for me? And I love that you're helping people see this for themselves. And we're actually going to go on a quick break here, Juliana. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how they can actually start taking those steps in their business. We're going to talk a little bit about social media and LinkedIn and how to utilize that. And so we'll be right back. What if it were possible to get local fresh groceries delivered right to your front door? Just think how much time and stress it would save you. Well, Instacart gives you unlimited grocery delivery for one low monthly fee. Forget that one ingredient for the family dinner that could offset everything? Instacart can deliver it to your front door in as little as 1 hour. You can shop multiple stores, see deals in your area to help you save money, and every item is hand-selected by shoppers based on your preferences. No more rock-hard avocados, and they will keep your eggs safe too. To start your 14-day free trial, follow the link in the show notes to let Instacart know that we sent you and to help support the show. Instacart. Never step foot in a grocery store again. Well, welcome back to the Purposeful Life Show on the Connect Now podcast with your host, Adrian Starks. And I have a wonderful guest on. Her name is Juliana Rabbi. She has been talking about the power of being a digital nomad, but there are some things that you have to understand first before just jumping into that, the responsibilities that come with it, having a plan. So if you missed that first segment, I encourage you to go back and listen to what Juliana is saying so that you can start off on the right track. Now, speaking of the right track, we have a lot of people right now, Juliana, that are wanting to find out different options for themselves because let's just be honest here, things are tough. They have been tough for the last 2 years. And a lot of people right now are feeling very insecure. They're like, okay, this is not stable for me. How do I protect myself, my well-being, my family? And how do I protect my future? Or how do I create my future? And there are people who are considering right now finding a way to have a secondary income, that is building a business on the side. What were some of the things that you learned when starting your business after leaving your 9-to-5 job?
Okay, interesting. If possible, I always suggest that people start their side gig while their side business, while they still have another job or another source of income, because that will release, let's say, the pressure,
Okay.
and they will have time to create a business, to have the business running before they quit their other source of income. So if you have financial responsibilities, if you have family, you have to make payments. So it's important that money keeps coming, and then you have time and energy. You are in a better state to build up your business as a side thing if you're doing so. If this is possible, that's what I suggest. And it's funny because a lot of people think they want to start a business or dream about it, but when they start doing it, they realize that there are so many things involved and maybe they don't really enjoy all of that. And they might even say, you know what, this is not for me. So before you put all the eggs in the same basket and go for your dream business, I would say start making it happen, learn about it, make it real. And then once it has already some shape, it's easier for you to quit whatever other source of income you have. And hopefully by that time, you already be making some money from the new business, because there are so many things involved. So it's not just say, I want to create a business. It's going to happen tomorrow. No, it's it's way more complex than that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And once again, to our audience, do not do what I did back in 2018 and just leave your damn job thinking that you've got this money set aside and you're going to be all right until the next job starts up. Don't do that. Now, I was able to recover from that and to build my business, but it was much harder than what it could have been. And here's the thing. It's not that it's going to be an easy walk in the park for any of you out here, But what I did was an absolute no. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a strategy. And I went out thinking, okay, I'm going to build my speaking business. I'm going to do this with a podcast. None of that happened right away. It took time, a lot of failure, a lot of dial backs, a lot of setbacks to recalibrate. And now as I'm listening to Juliana speak about these things, I'm thinking, damn, where were you when I needed you in 2018? But you're here now. So I know that that mistake will never, ever happen again. And speaking of leaving the job, when I was on my job, I was actually looking at social business avenues like LinkedIn and connecting with people. And I actually was able to connect with quite a few people on LinkedIn. But you also help your clients when it comes to job seeking and recruitment through LinkedIn, which is a powerful tool. Yeah. Do you find that LinkedIn is becoming more of that tool that people need to have to land their clients and ideal jobs in workplaces?
I wish I was getting paid by LinkedIn to say that. I'm not, but I still have to say it because based on my experience, LinkedIn is the main tool nowadays to land a new job. And I will add to also land clients to your business. I have been using LinkedIn since many years ago, and I used it when I was a job seeker, when I was looking for jobs myself. So as a job seeker searching for jobs, I used LinkedIn. And then when I was a recruiter for more than 15 years, I was using LinkedIn as a tool to find candidates for my clients. And now I use LinkedIn to get visibility to my potential clients. 70-80% of my clients come from LinkedIn. So it's a powerful way to make money also, right? My clients come from there, most of them. And I also train people to use LinkedIn to land their jobs, to find their clients and all of that. So yes, it's like a showcase that is open 24/7. And you get visibility to people all over the world. You get visibility to people that are outside your network, because whoever you are connected, there are ways that you get visibility to their connection. So people that you probably have never heard about, they can see you. It's very easy to reach out to people. So C-level positions are on LinkedIn, decision makers, people who are deciding about who to hire for a position or which professional to choose for that consultant's job, they are on LinkedIn. So the reaction time is very fast. You are one message away from someone that can be your next candidate, the next person in your team, your next client, the person you're going to pay for a service. So it's an amazing tool. And a lot of people still feel a bit shy and awkward to do this online networking because it might feel kind of forced or unnatural, or like, how do I start that? But this is definitely the way to go, and results are there. I mean, from my side and from my clients. So I know this works.
Well, that is great to hear, because I believe what you're saying, because LinkedIn has been a major source for me to connect with people across the boards. And if you're listening right now and you're wondering, should I get my LinkedIn started up? Yes. Do that.
Yes.
Do that. I'm going to have some information here too at the very end for you to connect with Juliana so she can talk to you more about that, possibly, if you're interested in doing that, because LinkedIn is where everything is going right now. And I feel that, and let me just go backwards here for a little bit. So LinkedIn, if you are listening to us today, we're always open, just for some help here and there. So if you want, sponsorship. So if you want to sponsor Juliana, please, by all means do. If you want to sponsor the show, please, by all means do. So back now, let me go back here now to LinkedIn and using this as a platform. It's very professional. And a lot of people now are becoming more personal on LinkedIn. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to post your trips to wherever you're going with friends. And what I'm saying is that LinkedIn is becoming more of this place where the KLT factor is happening. Know, like, and trust. And people now are showing more of themselves, not just from a complete professional manner, but they may be walking outside and see something, or they may be with someone and share a picture with you on LinkedIn and say, this is what I do for my business. I love working with people like this. And they will show people, given the fact that they give them permission to. So it's becoming more personal now, because people want to know, who are you? Why are you here? How can we connect? What do we have in common? What can you do for me? What can I do for you? And LinkedIn is becoming that place right now for it. So I love the fact, Juliana, that you are focusing on helping clients get through LinkedIn, because it is the place to be. Now, Speaking of LinkedIn and reaching out to multiple people across the planet, let's talk about traveling because I know that we are all looking forward to doing it more than often, right? This lifestyle that you have created for yourself, where you are now, I want to know about that lifestyle. Where has it taken you? And what has been some of your favorite places that you have gone to because of your digital nomad professionalism?
Oh, I never know how to answer this question. Which is your favorite country? I never know how to answer that. So the way I'm going to answer is my favorite continent. I hope that's enough. That's how far I can
That
go.
would be
So
enough.
so I like Asia very much. So everything I
Okay.
have seen from Asia was impressive because it's so different than everything else that I have seen. I'm from Brazil, so I lived in Brazil several years. Then I lived in Europe, in different countries in Europe. I have traveled 52 countries and counting. But Asia is completely different than the other continents, like the colors, the culture, the way people behave, and the rhythm of life, and yeah, everything. It's just like fascinating. It blows my mind. So yeah, Asia has this special place in my heart. I still have many other countries to explore there, but it's very different than everything else I have seen. So it takes me out completely from my comfort zone. And I like that. I like that in every travel that I do, that I'm exposed to different things. And even the small details are different. Like, I don't know, buying a SIM card, or figure out where's the best supermarket for you to buy stuff, or where to do your laundry if you don't have that in your Airbnb, or which are the best areas to rent in Airbnb, or if it's not Airbnb, how are you going to find accommodation, and how do you connect with people, because then you land in a new place and sometimes nobody. I do know now, because this digital nomad community, we keep in contact and we arrange to meet people. So it doesn't happen. Very few times it happens that I'm completely alone. It actually happened in Argentina because I came before my friends are coming. So I was like, I don't know anyone in this city. So how do I meet
Mhm.
people? And then you start literally from zero. I don't speak Spanish, which is easier. But sometimes when I'm in Asia, I don't speak their language and I still do the same process. It's kind of reinventing myself, starting from scratch, and from the survival things like food, water, how to move around where it's safe or not, to really enjoy and talk to people and get into deeper conversations and experience the culture and all of that. So I love that. It's really interesting.
Love it. Well, I love your answer. And you're right. It is a tough question because if you're traveling a lot, there's many places that you enjoy being. And it's just hard to kind of narrow it down to just that one place. Now, you're currently in Argentina, and I have been reading a little bit about Argentina myself, and I would like to travel there someday. And one thing that I love of consumption that they have there is a drink. I may be saying this incorrectly, but yerba mate
Yes, yes, yerba
and
mate.
yerba
Yeah.
mate, right? You say it much better than me, by the way. But
Yeah.
I love that drink. I've been drinking it for the past couple of years, and I have different ways of putting it together. But I would love to go there and just to have just a traditional one, the one they make there, the right way, and to sit
Yeah.
down and have a conversation. We can talk about being digital nomads and everything. So I would love to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you travel, you get to experience things that you can read about them. You can watch a documentary. You can read a book, which is all amazing. It's a way of traveling. But when you are in the place, it's way more intense. It's your experience. So when you read a book, you're seeing that country, that place from through the eyes of the author. But then when you are there, you're kind of writing your own book, right? You're having your own experience. And
Yes.
sometimes it's just like a conversation with the waiter that is super interesting. So it doesn't need to be something spectacular. There are also spectacular things, obviously.
Hmm.
But because you approach travel in a different way, you're not just rushing to see the sightseeing, to take the 10 photos wherever everybody takes the photo, and to see everything in the city in the first week. You take things on a different speed because also you're working. Remember that. So you
Yes.
need to have a proper condition and be rested and have a quiet place to work and meet the deadlines. All those things need to be done. So the speed that you experience the city is different, but it's also more intense because you go way over the classical 6 places that everybody talks about in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and you have like a way deeper experience. So it's almost like you can always go back to the place because every time is going to be different, because you're not just going to the touristic points, you are experiencing the city. So I love it, as you can probably notice.
Yes. You're making me more excited about traveling, and I'm pretty sure our audience today is going to get more into looking into the research behind where they can travel and also where they can work remotely. Juliana, this has been absolutely wonderful. And I wanted to wrap things up today with some of your words. In your words, starting from scratch is overwhelming and scary, but you are worthy of a job that is aligned with your vision and values. And I just had to say those are your words. With that being said, how can the audience connect with you to learn how to begin this scary and overwhelming process?
It can be less scary, right? It can be less
Yes.
hard. You can speed up the process. You can enjoy the process. You can get the results you want faster. So yeah, there are ways to do that better. An easy way to do that is through LinkedIn, for example. You can search for Juliana Rabbi. My surname is Rabbi. I also have my website, which is also www.julianarabbi.com. Yeah, Instagram is also juliana.rabbi. So pretty much if you search on Google for my name, that's me. Yeah, and I'll be happy to connect with people, to exchange some messages, to talk more about it. This is all those topics we spoke about today. I really like them because I live them. They are all part of my journey, my personal and professional journey. So all those things are topics that are very close to me. So yeah, I'd love to keep talking about it if someone is listening and is interested also.
Of course they would be interested. I'm certainly interested in learning more about that. I'm going to make sure I place your information into the show notes of this podcast so that our audience can click on it and go straight there to your website to reach out to you, because this has been a fantastic conversation. And I think that's going to give a lot of encouragement to people to think about what they can do, like what lifestyle can they create and what steps would they need to take in order to do that. And I think this is where you definitely come in to help them with that transition, because it can be quite overwhelming. I want to thank you, Juliana, for being here today, taking out time to share this special information with our audience, because we are in a time right now where we need some encouragement. I want to thank you for showing up, being out here and helping people discover and live a more purposeful life. You're amazing.
That was very fun. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Purposeful Life Show on the Connect Now podcast with your host, Adrian Starks. Subscribe to the show and connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. Learn more about us by visiting our website at cnbn.ca. Go to connectnowpodcast.com to be inspired by more life-changing content. Let's connect, learn, and grow.